That's me. Stop. Hold up. PMG.
Hey everybody, it's Benji, better known as Moiciara. And hold on y'all. I look so oily. I've had this makeup on literally for almost 24 hours because I've had some things to do and definitely these videos. So if y'all see me with this brush more than once, y'all know why. So this is of course going to be a Married at First Sight new season. They are in Boston this new season. That's why I got a little cute, because I got to do another review too. So I wanted to make sure I was giving off like, oh, look at me, I'm put together, had a little makeup on, do a little something for y'all. But anyway, yeah, so this is going to be a Married at First Sight review for episodes, I believe 1 through 4. And the reason why is because y'all know how it is with Married at First Sight. They can be a little dragalicious, and I be wanting them to speed things up. But I must admit, this season is off to a good start, a very triggering good start. But that's what we got these notes for. So let's get into them, because y'all already know I have my notes. Boop, 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 just so y'all can know and see. This is what it is. Okay, right. So, boom. What's today? Today is Tuesday. So, this will be out tomorrow before episode 5. I want to kind of like, give y'all a little something until the new episode come on or whatever. But anyway, so, I got episode 1, season 14, episode 1, y'all. There's this guy named Mark. He labeled himself as Mark the Shark. But Married at First Sight got him labeled as Mark the Cat Lover, because I think he said he got 3 cats. I think 3 cats. If I'm wrong, y'all know what to do. I'm gonna post their photos on probably my left or my right, depending on, y'all will know once they pop up on the screen and things like that. They get labeled Lindsay as the wild card, and she's also a cat lover as well. I put Mark and Lindsay might actually make it. I put Lindsay is so lively, and I love that. And this like reminds you, I'm going in episode sequence, so obviously some of these opinions might change due to the episode as it progressed throughout the season. But anyway, but for now, overall, I pretty much liked her energy and whatever. So I got Elijah Wan. I got that name right. Hey, y'all, I got it right. Okay. I got there we go. Elijah Wan. He's yummy. They labeled him as the ex-playboy, and I put that he has that typical tradition woman's value as a wife. Like, I believe, how can I say this? Like, I don't want to say this, but I just feel like this was going to happen throughout the season, because y'all know how they do like a season wrap up. They show you what's supposed to happen throughout the season and things like that. And he said this one statement when he was with his folks, and he was saying how, like, how the woman is supposed to cook and pretty much cook and clean and da. But he didn't sound like he was saying it in a way where like, oh, like, I don't know if he was just talking big shit just because he was just like, this is what I want, or he was talking it because he really believes that this is what a woman's supposed to do. Woman's work is in the kitchen and cleaning the home and stuff like that, which is nothing wrong. But what role are you playing in her life to make her want to commit to doing those things without you asking? That's the key thing. Let's talk about it. Okay, right. All right. He had a breakdown before they decided to get married, and I put, I'm a good judge of character, you guys. But anyway, I put Elijah Wan is a lot. He reminds me of Lindsay. They're both in your face talking to people who's too cocky, and needs to eat some humble pie. And I like that. I think that's kind of like I'm jumping a little bit, but they got into it. So I feel like that played a true factor into why they got into it, because they're both, in your face. I'm not gonna. Well, Elijah one, I'm gonna say aggression. Um, um, Lindsay, I'll say assertive, or direct, or whatever. Boom. But anyway, we're gonna get back to that once we get there. But then I got Katina. Katina's the party chick, no more. And then I think she's hung up on the 30-year-old thing. And I said it's holding her back because of course she's 30 years old. You know how it is. Like, a lot of women feel like once they reach 30, or people when they hit 30 in general, they put all this amount of pressure on themselves to want to have the white picket dream or whatever. And I feel like by her being a young lady, I feel like she's putting that pressure on herself without allowing her to, like, you know, how can I say this, like, when you turn 30, you're walking into knowing yourself. Like, you don't know yourself. I mean, I'm 33. By the time I knew who I was and things like that, but I just mean, like, overall where you wanted your life to be. You don't know at 30. I don't care what nobody said they can. You don't know at 30. You don't know at 30. That's just a magical number that's been stowed upon us by myths. But anyway, I got Katina friend think he isn't serious and he just wants exposure. Like her guy friend when they was like doing the couples meet up with the family members and stuff like that. And I put that, and I don't feel like Elijah one wants exposure, but he kind of reminds me from Zach from last season. Like, whew, I wouldn't even want to go back to last season. Zach was so all over the place, y'all. I thought him and Michaela was really going to do the damn thing. And I mean, I don't know what's going on off because I don't watch those little bonus episodes. I don't have the time or whatever. I want to see what's going on or whatever. And then if I decide to follow them on social media, then so be it. But other than that, no. I got Steve. I believe they're going to. I don't think I put too much with Steve, but I know I put something here. It says, Steve, I believe that they're going to have their challenges. Steve doesn't seem like he's ready to admit that he doesn't want to work because he stated that, he's currently not working. Now, I can't remember exactly what he was doing, but he got to have some money. If he was traveling and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo and, all that stuff, he got to have some money. Somewhere stowed up high above, whatever, child. He got to be doing something. And boom. So yeah, I put that. And then I got Noi. They call her, she got a little nickname called Noisy or whatever. They was like, oh, this is her wild, carefree side, whatever. Boom, 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 much there. And I got people are concerned, Noi people are concerned about him being employed because her parents were like, okay, so do you plan on trying to work? Do you want to work? Is it in the near future? Because she's going to be your wife. They was giving him kind of like the third degree child. It was like, we need more. Jasmina, I like this young lady wholeheartedly. Love her spirit. Love everything about her. Here we go. I got Jasmina notice that he might have some red flags. And he's her first relationship. He's her first relationship that's not long distance. Which, in my honest opinion, could be scary because if you used to dating someone long distance, then I don't want to say anything someone will say to you will be triggering as far as in having that person with you, but you're not just in a relationship, you're in a marriage now. So you can't just walk away. And that's the only thing about Married at First Sight that kind of doesn't sit well with me because this show is up until a certain time period, and they can decide if they want to stay married, if they want to get divorced, which allows them to want to either stay committed or not, so they can just ride the wave. Like so many, they're on season 14. They know this by now. So many of them ride the wave until they decide they don't want to duke it out. We're going to get to those couples who I definitely feel like are on that wavelength of doing such. Michael. He's a Haitian man. Jasmina is definitely hesitant. I love the fact that we had. All right, we got to talk about this. Boom, boom, boom. Very specific. I put he's Haitian man because, as you guys probably know, I was with someone who was Haitian or whatever. So it's very specific. It relates to my past and things like that. But I'm going to elaborate more once I get to those parts. But I'm trying to stay in sequence of the episodes. Jasmine is definitely hesitant. I love the fact that we have 4 black on black couples and no interracial couples. Boom. So as you guys know, they've had this little shebang of the couples being interracial last season, and it just was a mess. Like, I think it was the season before last, like that season. Like, I think what's the guy name was Wesley Willie, and the other young lady I can't think, and then there was the other black guy and the girl or whatever. So it was like 4 people that were doing their thing or whatever. And I'm glad they brought that back because the interracial thing, I just don't. I don't want to say that's the way, but I just think right now, due to everything that's going on, it's like you got to really be with somebody that's racially inclined about what is going on in the world in 2022. Like, you can't just be with somebody because, oh, they're a different race. But how does them being a different race understand your core values as being a black person? And I just don't think that show 6 weeks is enough time for people to kind of like wrap their head around all that. And definitely, even if they decide to stay outside of that, it's just a lot. Unless you're one of those people who, put the black stuff in the back of your mind and just keep doing whatever. But I'm glad they decided to have 4 black couples together. I put Michael's sisters embrace Jasmine with open arms. It was really nice because they was talking about, their family history. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, yada, yada, yada. Chris is, I got kind and sweet. And they show little Miss Alyssa. Alyssa reminds me of I don't want to be mean, y'all, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. I had something else to say, but I don't want to be mean, so we'll leave it at that. So right, y'all, hold on one second. So she decided to say that she think they could be friends and that they weren't compatible. Chris' friend said that she'll come second to work, which I felt like they shouldn't have told her that, because I felt like due to her already having her mind tuned out and like, oh, he's not the one, I'm not attracted to him, doesn't do nothing but add fuel to the fire for her. Like, she just wasn't here for that. I got Alyssa. I can tell Alyssa isn't attracted to Chris. She wants a I said she wants a playboy, most definitely, and she did. And she said she doesn't feel comfortable sleeping in the same room with him. And I put that she's not attracted to him and she wants a playboy because I feel like she wants a blonde hair. She wants her version of a tall, dark, and handsome. I think she would have probably wanted to be more so with Steve than a Chris or whatever. I'm just saying. I feel like if she had him, she probably would have been more attractive or wanted to make it work. Because Chris doesn't look like the guy that she wants. She was like, oh, he got to have good teeth and da-da-da-da-da. And Chris' teeth ain't nice. But, like I said, Alyssa, yeah, all right. Like I said, I'm going to stop being mean. Okay. Anyway, I was really reading Alyssa for Phil. I'm trying not to be so mean, but I'm going to be authentic at the same time because I can only be mean. I got Alyssa claimed that Chris made some foul comments to her and she wasn't okay with it. And I felt like that was just a coping mechanism for her to want to just like tune out and be like, fuck it, I don't want to do this. He's not what I want. She was like, she don't want to sleep in the same room with him. She was like, I don't want to see him or whatever. And I feel like the producers, like, I don't like that. Like, don't baby the castmate. Don't baby them. If they want to show out and they know what they signed up for, allow them to to act a fool. So, because this is what they signed up for. I don't like that. So, I put Alyssa is spoiled, entitled, and a manipulator. She isn't ready to be married, and she knows she's not ready to be married. I think, like I said, when you put yourself in a position like being a married at first sight, if you're not ready, it's gonna show. It's going to show. It never not shows. You cannot tell me if you're not a fan of the show that it's never not show that you wasn't ready to be married. And baby girl is so far beyond. She's not. If her and Chris make it to decision day and are married, then baby, like, all right, then I'll eat my humble pie and gulp it down, honey, in one scoop. But from my eyes, these two 2020s, like, I don't think she's ready. I put she just wants not to be single, the single girl anymore. And that's what I was saying about, like, when you reach a certain age, like, you put these things on your shoulder where you feel like you have to accomplish those goals. You have to do this. You have to do that. Like, of course, when I used to have that mindset, like, oh, I was comparing myself to people's lives, what I was doing, how I was doing it, where I was at, things like that. And it's like, for what? Why would I compare myself to the next person? Or even if I wasn't, it's more so about being inspired versus looking at it from a negative point of view where you're like enabling yourself from growing on your own terms or whatever, because you can't grow on somebody else's terms. You can't grow on society and statistics terms of where you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be doing it. Like, you can't. And definitely, I hate that so many women struggle with that. And when you reach a certain age, you feel like you gotta be tied down. You gotta have this because everybody else have it. Because it's not realistic for everybody. They just not. That's just not your story. And sis right here, this ain't her story. Then she gets mad that he told her family about it. She told him that they're not compatible. That she got mad because he told, when they had sat down, that he told them that they wasn't compatible. She's like, oh, that was private information. I wouldn't have discussed that, whoopty whoopty woo, whatever with them. And I'm like, girl, like, huh? Like, it wasn't nothing serious. This is what you said. You didn't say this in confidence, like, oh, please do not mention this to the camera crew, the producers, to my family. You never discussed or said any of that. So it's like, girl, what are you doing? Anyway, next. I got married at first sight. Loves a dramatic moment. They love a dramatic moment. Married at first sight. I know you guys probably never see this in a million years, but you guys love a dramatic moment. Okay, I'm sorry. I get it. Lindsay is a carefree girl, but sometimes you have to read the room before you start spewing certain things, joking or not. So they was on their way to the honeymoon trip or whatever. And she supposed to have told Elijah Wan something and said she need to speak this or whatever. I don't know. It was a little unclear for me, but anyway, this is what was said. And they kind of got into heated arguing about it. He was like, I don't care. I don't want to talk about her and this, that, and the third. And I really don't. I should have went back and watched that last little clip, but I don't really remember what happened. I was sure they was going to bring it up. They did, but because she supposed to say something on the bus about the language I think he was speaking in or something. Either way, it shouldn't have been said. Like, it shouldn't have been said. I got the couples are on their honeymoon. Lindsay and Mark are cute. And I said they definitely had sex. And I knew they had sex. But anyway, Mark talks about his past relationships, and Lindsay said he's been an emotional support for people and how he hasn't put himself first. And, like, because he take care of his mother and he take care of, I think, another family member or whatever. So he's kind of always been there or whatever, which you can't be mad at a man for doing that or whatever. But you got to know when to put yourself first and when to do you, because you can't make other people happy for you. You got to make yourself happy for you, period. And then he said that Lindsay's energy can be a lot or whatever. We gathered that already. Her energy can be a lot. Then Mark and Lindsay have their date as well, and he speaks on the incident that happened between her and Elijah Wan. or whatever, and how a lot of times how it has interfered with them getting to know each other, which I don't know. They was on their little romantic date or whatever, and I just felt like he wasn't wording anything right. Simple as that. He wasn't wording things right, and it just came across like, um, how can I say this? It just wasn't coming across right, y'all. It just wasn't coming right. It just wasn't coming across right. And Lindsay was trying to. She's ready to chew him up and spit him out, honey. I was like, all right, girl. Mark and Lindsay had a date as well. My bad, I'm jumping around. I put wow. Lindsay called Mark out and says and says like, how are you going to plan a romantic dinner and say you want to pull back? Because he was saying he wanted to pull back from everything that was going on for them to get to know each other. She was like, but we've already been intimate, we've had sex and things like that, so how are you going to try to pull back now? Which I'm like, you can't say things like that after you've been intimate with somebody you practically just met, because they're going to look, I understood where she was coming from, because she was looking at it like, you playing me, like, you're playing me, what else can I possibly say? Child, it wasn't a good night for him. But everybody was having a little trouble in paradise besides, I believe, Noy and Steve. But I don't know. I just feel like with Noy and Steve or whatever, I don't know. Like, I know he's attracted to her and he like her. And, you know, she was talking about how she had, I'm skipping, so I'm going to go. I got, they spend with one another. I put Noy and Steve have definitely had sex. He said they wouldn't disclose that because of her or whatever. I'm like, yeah, all right. And then I don't know, Steve might turn away on decision day because I feel like he likes Noy, but I don't know if it's to the point where he could see himself with her. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's gonna be like how it was at the reunion with Baby Boy and Mirala. I can't think of his name, but something was going on between them. I don't care if what they was talking about. Oh, we're just friends. Woo 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 woo. I don't care. Even Gil didn't care. He knew what was up. Yeah. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could just be reading into it or whatever. But they both had said they cheated when they was playing the little Never Have I Ever game when they was on the yacht, boat trip, whatever shebang. They had a date, and Steve said, you know, he brings up how she said she was slowly falling in love with him. And, you know, he was saying how, like, oh, he appreciated her for sharing that. And like she said, that wasn't what she wanted to hear. But I'm like, girl, you know, y'all only known each other a few days. Like, what you expect him to say? Like, he's not going to say, I'm madly in love with you, you know. And he's not, I mean, I appreciate him being honest because that's just not what he is. And what else I got? He says that they're moving fast and he's not at that point to, you know, say that or whatever. And I mean, you can't help but respect that because, I mean, he's being honest. Instead of him lying and then saying, oh, I just said that because you said it, you wouldn't want that. So, right. Here we go. Jasmina is being called out by Michael about some tension that he believes is lingering. And how can I say this? Like, due to him being a Haitian man and by me having experience with one or whatever, I don't want to just focus in on that, but I am going to talk about it, you know, a little bit. I believe that he has this thing where he likes to self-sabotage or whatever. Like, he made breakfast for her and stuff like that, and then, bam, he instantly goes into talking about I believe, you know, our connection isn't that kind of way because, there's some lingering issues of this, that, and the third. And she looking like, what? And she was like, I could tell this was like the first thing on his mind, or what have you, to want to discuss with her. And I'm like, you can definitely tell that that's something that he wanted to discuss, period. I'm like, right, girl, you ain't no fool. Don't be no fool. So, yes. I said he's overthinking, and she even told me, she's like, you're overthinking this process, because he was like, oh, we should be further along, and she's like, we practically just met. You gonna say folks we, you know, like, what? It was a little bit much. I was like, cool your jet, sweetheart, Cool your jets. Um, he says, due to his trauma, he has such a negative way of thinking, and I put it's a coping mechanism because he was like, how he witnessed a lot of people, die and things of that nature that were close to him and stuff like that. Like, he feel like he has to see the negative in things versus the positive in things. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but you're walking into a brand new situation, which is a marriage, and you can't rely on those same ways of thinking in order to become a better person for you and the person you're married to. So, child, oh Lord. So, when they was on the little yacht boat, whatever shebang, Michael claimed Jasmine cut him off when he was talking, and they showed the playback. She clearly didn't. And I was like, right. So then they showed him in the confession. He was like, well, I believe she did or whatever. And I'm like, that didn't sound as sincere as if you felt like you had to question her about it and say, I need for you to apologize that you said, like, it was like, what? Child. All I can say is that I've been there and I've done that. But that ain't really got to do with him being a Haitian man. That's just him being a man in general. But we've all been there. Say I. Period. Okay. Who? She said she's frustrated and wants no part of the marriage. She was just venting. She was upset. Jasmine, Mina, and Michael have a date, but you can see that there's tension between them. And she said she felt how he felt, and she says how he felt like he needed an apology, whatever, like, because he felt like he needed an apology for her cutting him off when that clearly didn't happen. They showed the playback, it didn't happen. And then he was like, well, she was like, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. He was like, that's not an apology, which it's not. It's not an apology. It's not an apology. I don't care how it's disguised, what way you try to flip it, dip it, reverse it. It's not an apology. So, right. Hold on. It's not an apology. So, he tries to make a conscious effort to, like, about moving forward, which was good. And he says he's going to call it out if it happens in the moment. He apologized and corrected his behavior. That's pretty much all I put for him or whatever. I just feel like he got some growing up to do. Michael has a lot of growing up to do. For Jasmina to not have had a relationship that hasn't been long distance, I feel like she's responding and reacting better to the situations than he is. I don't know. He expected for them to be like model citizens for marriage, and it's on like day 3 or something. Like, child, come on, stop it. Boom, 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 boom. Trying to see where I'm at. Okay. Then I got Katina and Elijah Wan. I'm gonna call them the firecrackers because I feel like with Elijah Wan, he's a firecracker most definitely. So they decided to work out together, whatever. And I said he's very dominant, which can be a good thing. But he reminds me of the kid who was bullied but has been turned around and made sure no one will ever bully him again. Because, Elijah Wan's cute. He's a nice-looking young man. But, I don't think he don't look like he that tall. I think he like he about 5'9". 5'9", maybe 5'9". Okay, anyway. And I just get that sense of value. Like, he was a puny little kid. People, like, pushed him around and stuff like that. So probably when he got in high school, he probably got into sports. He was a football player, woo-dee-woo-dee-woo. Played whatever background was. And then, that built up his confidence. He became a whore. He decided to be a whore. And, yeah, y'all know how that go. That's just personally how I feel. And it's made him more dominant because when a man is getting pussy, it changes their attitude. It changes their energy. Period. I definitely think they've had sex, even though they said they haven't. I don't care what they said. I think he did. And then when he was talking to the guys, he was like, yeah, he had pushed her at the gym purposely because he don't want her to just be like going with the flow. He wants her to be able to speak up and say something. I'm like, but just say that. Just say that. You ain't gotta come up with a activity. Like, I don't like that playing games though. That stuff bothers me. So I was like, you don't have to do all that. All right. Um, so while I was playing the Never Have I Ever game, he said he had sex with a mom and a daughter. So I don't know if it. Well, I don't know if it was together, y'all. I don't think he said or specified, or if the producers asked him that. But I'm like, I don't want to say it's a red flag because it could be his past. But how far past was it before we can label it as his past? Not just because he on this fucking boat. So I don't know about that. And then he asked about a threesome. He was digging the grave for himself, y'all. He was shoveling away. Um, and then cause Tina's like, no, ain't no threesomes around here going at all. Like it's not happening. It's not going down. And then he said I'm open to it. If you're open to it, then I'm gonna be open to it and stuff. I was like, boy, shut up, zip it. It's not happening. She don't want it. Oh, excuse me. Then when they went on their little date, he was talking about how he had deleted his Instagram for her and stuff like that. But I mean, that's not a grand gesture. Like, if you're in tune with what you got to do, being in a relationship, that's not a real commitment gesture. Sorry. She noticed how he likes to push past his Isaac persona because it's in his past. Like, because he claims, this playboy, this, dog, and he went by Isaac, this name. His alter ego and shit. And, I was like, all right, but you got to deal with it because it's going to come up. It's going to keep coming up until you deal with it. And he's not dealing with it. And Katina notices that. And since she notices that, she's going to keep, poking at it because she wants to know that part of him. While they was on the yacht boat, whatever shebang, I got in here. Katina and Lindsay getting heated discussion. And Katina storms off because she was checking her. She was like, you have to be careful what you say. She was like, oh, this how you are. Woo woo, you're too old to be acting this way. Woo woo. And even Jasmina stuck up for her as well. But she was still like, Lindsay, I like you. Woo woo woo. But you just got to watch what you say and whatever. And Christina, she pretty much told him what happened when they was on a date. And he was just like, I was glad that she had my back and I wasn't around and stuff like that. And, which was cute. I mean, you want to have somebody in your corner who's, have your back when you're not in front of them, period. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for those episodes 1 through 4. Y'all see how short that was? Because it be a lot of fluff. And I be trying to get to the meat and the potatoes and, and the bread of the show. Because it's an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're watching it live, which I never really do. Which I've stated plenty of times in these reviews. So if you like this review, please comment, like, subscribe, share this video with everyone who is entertained by reviews when it comes to Married at First Sight or these shows in general. Like I primarily like to do reviews on shows that kind of like speak to me, because I could do The Power and I could do all those shows, but I mean, just if you follow me on Twitter, then you can just read my tweets about that stuff. I don't feel like I need to sit on. But Married at First Sight, I really enjoy it. It's like it's not a guilty pleasure because I really enjoy watching it. But I wanted to start doing these reviews because I really feel like there's a community, or maybe I'm missing the community, or where I'm seeing the reviews like being discussed in a more urban way, I guess, more black folk way, I guess. That's the best way to say it. But anyway, I think I ran my mouth enough. Like I said, please make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share this video. You can dislike it too. People won't know, they won't see it. I'll see it, I'll know. But yeah, do whatever you do whatever you choose. So please, okay, y'all, until next time.